Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. On Saturday morning, I walked into my office and there was this stranger sitting at my desk, fiddling with a computer, and I said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm here to do your surveillance of video system, etc., etc." But I said to him, "Why are you alone in my office?" The point is, people do not take security seriously, and that is why I'm not surprised this happened. We always believe in cheaper, better and faster. So all the people who come to our businesses to install security equipment, surveillance equipment, computer equipment, etc. are all cheaper, better and faster. And we have no control over them because many of them are not licensed at all. And many of them are desperados who come to our country to work at slavery charges, and then they will turn around and bite you in your bum. I'm very proud of our Prime Minister. He, like me, is a warrior from the pioneer days, and he says, you know, there's nothing about my medication data that is something to feel great about. He's absolutely right. Even if the medical data showed that half his brain is missing, or if he has only one testicle, what difference does it make? He's still our Prime Minister. Auditor General flags lapses at ministries, government agencies. I cannot believe that this is happening again. If you read the newspapers as often as I do, and for as long as I do, you will know that this happens every year. And you know what is worse? Nobody has been fired. You know, if this happened in a private company, especially an MNC where the guy is paid highly, the head will be fired. The worst part of this scenario is late payments, because they owe the contractors and they have not paid the contractors 13.61 million. Now, those highly paid brain-dead idiots are being paid their salaries every day, and these poor contractors and their families are starving. That is the crunch that the government should look at. Why is it that our government departments are owing contractors so much money and making them suffer and close down? Because every contractor employs many other little contractors. So Auditor General, I think you should even look further than just the lapses. You should fire some of those highly paid, brain-dead people sitting in the air-conditioned office. This headline stunned me. Hyflux owes shareholders 1.17 billion. I'm shocked to read it because the people are owed actually 2.95 billion. Now, how did this happen? Our authorities should seriously look at how this happened, because the people who buy the shares and buy the bonds and are the ordinary people on the street. What companies are we allowing to come to our country, start an IPO, and screw our own people? You know, I am a dinosaur. I have never had an ATM card in my life because my mother was my one ATM card and my husband is my other ATM card. I'm not against technology. I am against rushing it before we really know how it works and how to protect the users. Our Minister of Health was harping about how chatbots are going to be used for smarter healthcare. He is even so hyped up about chatbots that people will type in their basic information such as their symptoms and medical history, can even prioritize seriously ill patients and things like that. There is too much talk about tech. There is not enough thinking. It is time for our minister to get to the ground level and see what is the real problem in our healthcare system. Growing up exposed to drugs. CNB officers have come across kids and pregnant women in drug dens. This is Singapore, you know, not in some third or fourth world countries, you know. This is in our high-class globalized city. How come this kind of thing cannot be eliminated? Is it because it's such a big problem that we cannot control it, or is it because we don't have enough political will at the top to get rid of this disease and drug problem in our country? Or is it because we don't care enough? This news that this e-scooter rider has been given a detention order is not really good news for me, you know, because it's not about locking up this poor boy who was riding his scooter. The problem is the article next to it, the woman was hit by his e-scooter. This scooter rider had knocked down this poor woman who is going to help support her now. Her husband only earns $2,500 and she has to spend about $2,000 a month. So who makes up for the difference? What insurance can she fall back on? In the old days, it was usually the old guy who rides a bicycle in the kampong and not great speed because the roads are so rocky you can't go fast anyway. Nowadays, you see young people riding the bicycle and they ride very fast and they don't care about people around them. What sort of rules and regulations have we got for these e-scooters, personal mobile devices, and even bicycles? Because when they hit you, you can end up in hospital. If you die, it's not a problem. Your problems are over. But if you are injured, like this poor lady, then who pays for the insurance? It is time the authorities who is in charge of transport in Singapore, is it the Minister of Transport or the LTA chairman, they should sit down and do a good job, right? Understand what's happening on the ground. People are being hit by such devices which can maim you and even kill you, and they are not covered by insurance. Beauty queens of hearts. I read this closely and found it very heartwarming. They know their background, they speak about their background, they're not shy about it, and because of their background, they're taking the extra step to help the poor people in our community. I'm very touched by your personal stories. Do come by to Bollywood Veggies to meet me so that I can give you all a kiss each. Another top of the news, but this is about sports. Well, people will look at this and think, wow, France won, how great. But when I look at this with the eyes of an ex-president of the Singapore Netball Association, I see the aeroplane Air France on there. You see, these countries really support their people. When I was president of Netball Singapore and we had to fly overseas to participate in, say, the Asian Champs, etc., we had to fly on another airlines because Singapore Airlines was too mean to fly us free, but we didn't expect free. We were prepared to pay what they call the rec rate or something, and yet they wouldn't do it. So for sports to be successful in your country, even your airlines must jump behind it. A group of young, nice girls of different races and strength and diversity. It looks lovely. It reminds me of Netball Singapore. This is not the netball team, this is a basketball team, but I think they will do well, not because they're girls, but because they got diversity, and that creates strength. I like to finish my show today on a nice topic. WP Chief addresses grads at NUS commencement. 3 cheers to the NUS people for inviting Pritam Singh to be at the commencement event. Looks like our donkeys in white are now allowing other coloured donkeys to speak at events, which is very good, which means that Singapore, we are progressing well. Thank you for watching my show again. I'm happy to inform you that I finally found the perfect bra made in Taiwan and only $25.